Hello, Flosstubers! It's Chevy and me welcoming you to my channel, North of the Border Stitcher. Doesn't he look like a big boy now? Chevy went yesterday and got a haircut. Didn't you, Chevy? Huh? Huh? Yeah, he's big boy. Yes. He's got long legs now that we've got his haircut. So, anyway. Yes. I love you too. You ready to get down and go play? Are you? All right. Chevy's 15 weeks old now. Thinks he's tough. He had an interaction with the cat. I took him out in my backyard the other day, and my backyard is fully fenced. And suddenly we noticed there's this black cat in our yard. So that was kind of interesting. He kind of ran from it and then stood there watching it, barking at it. The cat got in a low tree. For about 10 minutes, they had this standoff of looking at each other, Chevy barking. I kept trying to distract Chevy so he could go to the bathroom. And finally, the cat came after him, not viciously or anything like that, just running up after him. And I wasn't sure if this cat would attack my dog because this cat probably has claws. My cats are declawed, so they don't hurt Chevy when they swipe at him and stuff. So anyway, long story short, I got the cat to go up over the fence, and then it came back on top of the fence, and Chevy was totally distracted. So anyway, so even though I have a fence, I got stray cats coming in my yard. We don't let him go outside because he'll wander into the street. So his Chevy doesn't come very well. So we're still working on it. Let's see. Other news. I've been picking beans. I've got burgundy beans, purple beans, green beans, and they all turn green when you cook them. I never knew that about purple beans. So I have some more to pick, and I'll probably just blanch and freeze those for us to eat. So got the long arm fixed. A friend of mine came over, and we checked it out to see what the problem was and did some tweaking to the tension and rethreaded it, and then it worked. And as a result, I have a fully finished project today. And that is my Cheryl Wall wall quilt that I had on my long arm. So it's a primitive kind of quilt, which is good because it's got a primitive binding on it. I machine bound this, which is why I didn't get around to doing my video yesterday, but today I got the binding on, and it's pretty primitive, so I will console myself in that fact. So I did some of the buildings straight up and down, the other parts side to side. Some of the windows I did some smoke coming out the chimneys, a couple of them. I did pebbles. And anyway, so it's done. If I want to put a hanger on it, I can sew one of those and put that on. But again, this was a part of a block of the month by Cheryl Wall from a few years back. So that's my only fully finished project. I do have another finish though. This is part of the Friendstitch 2021 that's happening September 18th. I'm signed up for the 9 to 1 session. It's a 4-hour Zoom cross-stitch retreat. And there are 3 projects. This one came out beforehand, and it's just called an Autumn Gathering Sampler. And I think they're going to show ways to finish that at the webinar. So that is a finish, and I'm just going to wait and finish that when we see what happens. My other finish is my O Canada by Kooler Designs. It's completely stitched. It's ready to go in the frame. I'll be framing it this week yet. It's going to go in this frame, which I got at the thrift shop for $3, glass frame. And it's a lot cheaper than $85. No, it wasn't $85. It was $185 that I paid for my Home is Where the Heart Is. Anyway, so this is done. Next time I'll show it to you all framed. So I was happy to get that finished. That was an enjoyable stitch. I like that. Okay, so those are the only finished projects that I have to tell you about today. August, of course, was my autumn August. I was not very good at all in getting on Instagram. So I don't have much of a presence as North of the Border Stitcher on Instagram. And therefore I'm kind of an unknown. And that's fine with me. I enjoy just getting on and telling everybody about what I'm working on and projects that I have. But anyway, so my Autumn August SAL and my Thankful Thursday SAL were pretty much a bust on Instagram. I still did do them, so I'm going to show you what some of my August whips were for my autumn projects. Okay. First, this one is by Cherry Hill Stitchery called Autumn Leaves. It says Autumn Leaves and Pumpkins, Please. So I did a fair amount of the lettering this time. I think this is a 32 count piece of linen that I had dyed. So anyway, this is what it looks like. It's a download online if you go onto Cherry Hill Stitchery. And this one's been fun. I've enjoyed that one. Another autumn project that I've been working on, but not a whole lot the last 2 weeks, has been the Autumn Alphabet by the Scarlett House. This is the one that I'm doing on 25 count Lugana Vintage Smoky White. And I was doing it in 3 strands over 2, and it looks too bulky to me. So the border I said I'm going to do with just 2 strands. And I did the middle of the pumpkin with 3 strands. And then now the 2 sides of the pumpkin, I'm just doing with 2 strands. I think that's Nutmeg, Weeks Dye Works Nutmeg. And the letters, I'm using it's color 4000 from DMC. So those are 3 strands as well. But then, like I said, the edge is going to be 2 strands. So I'll keep working on that as another autumn project that I have. The main project that I worked on during autumn August was my Autumn Towne by Autumn Lane Stitchery. It comes in 4 pages. And so the first thing I ever did was the bottom left. And now I've been working on the bottom right. I've got a lot of that done over the last couple weeks. And then a little bit up here to the top right, top left. So anyway, this is done on my 28 count Springfield Sage Lugana. And I'm really enjoying that stitch. So that's the one I've worked on the most. I have 2 projects that I've been working on for Thankful Thursdays. The first one is my Thankful Owls by Bent Creek. Here they are. Aren't they cute? They're just sitting on a fork. And this is done on 16 count French lace. All I need to do yet is to finish their eyes. And this one has a hat and this one has feathers. So, and this is what it looks like. The Thankful Owls by Bent Creek. So, and that one I only just work on Thursdays. So it's a small one. It probably should be finished, I'm sure, by next time. And here in Canada, Thanksgiving is in October. And so that definitely will be done before Thanksgiving. Hey, what are you doing? You can't chew on that. I'm trying to drag away my quilt. He's bad. Sometimes he's bad. Okay, let me just put it up here on the table. He doesn't jump up on furniture yet. He hasn't learned that he could probably do that. But he does like to pull things down off of chairs and then chew on them. Well, he chews on everything. What am I saying? Okay, the other thankful project that I had going in August, my autumn August, is another Cherry Hill Stitchery called An Autumn Wish. I've been working a lot on this one as well because this is 14 count Ada. I think it's like oatmeal. And this one I can work on at night or in the car because it's a bigger square. So I've got all the words done and I've been working on the vines. And then there's just, I need to finish the white in the pumpkin. So I think I already said, I'm sorry that I have to pull these papers out. This is, yeah, another PDF download that I got from Cherry Hill Stitchery. And that one will be done in plenty of time too for Thanksgiving and even fall. So I enjoy that. This one, okay, I think there's a method of cross stitch called the railroad method. And it's where you, as you're going down in the top cross over, you put your needle between the two threads that you're using, and it helps your thread to lie flat and not to twist so that your X's look much more uniform. So I'm using that method on this one as well as on my temperature tree. I think it looks very nice. So, okay. Now, two other whips, and one that I just mentioned is my temperature tree by Stitchin Mommy, where the tree each month is represented with a branch. And the summer obviously was a little bit hotter, so these temperatures were usually somewhere between 30 and 35. I did get a lot of August on here pretty soon. Well, now it's September. I'll have to get my September branch going. But this is just on 14 count white Ada. And that's my temperature tree. It's coming along nicely. And the other whip that I have is my tiny Modernist cross stitch, the Moon Phase Bell Pull. And I'm doing this on 14 count that I dyed. I didn't dye it completely black. It's just like a darkish gray. And I was doing this with 3 strands, but it was too bulky. So now I've just stopped and gone back to 2. I did work some on the trees here, and I've started doing the border. All right, so the moon, I had to look up the moon phases because this is a project I'm doing for my granddaughter, Maddie, who lives in Texas, because she's the one that taught me about phases of the moon. And there are 8 phases in the moon. And it starts with a new moon, which is dark. And then you have waxing. When the moon is waxing, when you look at it, you see the moon on the right. So like if you look up at a crescent moon and it's, on the right, that is a waxing crescent. And then it gets to the first quarter, which would be like half the moon. And then it gets to a waxing gibbous. And this is when it's kind of like an oval, but not quite a full moon. That's waxing gibbous. and then you get to the full moon. All right. And then it starts waning, like going away. So when the moon is waning, you go into a waning gibbous. And then when you look at the moon, it's more centered to the left. And then you get to the third quarter, and you'll see half the moon, and it'll be to the left. And then you have a waning crescent, which is this last part here, before it goes back to a new moon. So there you go. And the 8 phases of the moon occur every 29.5 days. So that's why sometimes there are 2 full moons or 2 new moons in a month. I watched a video on YouTube called Phases of the Moon by Learning Junction. That's how I learned different things about it, and just by looking at pictures. So there you are. You've been taught about the phases of the moon. It's the beginning of September. Monday, all the children here in Raymond, my grandkids included, just started school on Monday. So in an effort to help out with education, you have learned about the phases of the moon. So I'm just doing the dark part first because the whiter stuff, I don't want to like make it dirty with my hands and things like that. So I'm just doing the darker part first. So let's see, my whips. Phases of the moon. My quilting whips. Okay, I've got a cat sitting on something here too. This is my table topper that I'm doing with the leftover pieces from my sunflower explosion quilts. So I just sewed them all together and then put them on a background that some stripes go vertical, some stripes go horizontal, and then I just put circles in the middle on like every other one. This is kind of similar to my bullseye quilt. So this is completely sewn together now, so I just need to get my batting and a backing and get that on my, I might just do that on my normal machine since it's not very big. Or I might put it on the long arm just to give a little more practice. So that's a quilting whip that I have going right now. I did finish my rag quilt for my granddaughter. I found out that it's not for Callie, it is for my older granddaughter, Emily, and she's 20. And I did talk to her mom, and she said, if I can do the snipping, that would be great, or we can get together and do the snipping together sometime. So she'll come over here, or I'll go over there, and we're doing it so that Emily doesn't know when she's going to get it. Like, I'm not still sure if Emily picked out the fabric, but Emily was an ice skater, which is why there's 2 different kinds of ice skating fabrics in it. So it is for Emily, and that just needs to be snipped and washed, and then it's good. I don't have it because I left it in the car when we went over to the house. We went to their house on Monday because my grandson Court just turned 16, and so we took a treat over to him. Everybody gets a birthday treat of the grandkids when it's their birthday. He requested chocolate cupcakes with peanut butter icing. Easy peasy. Okay, so I made those, and it was the best peanut butter icing I ever made. And there was a lot of it left over, and I was just kind of eating some of it. And I finally just put it in the freezer because I'll just keep eating it until it's gone. So, but I just followed the directions on the powdered sugar bag, and what the best icing I've ever made of peanut butter. So anyway, just a little more stuff about what's going on here. Okay, so that takes me to haul. I've got some new haul. I'll show you two things. Okay. This is another PDF download by Stitchin Mommy. She just put this one out. I'm going to use this for 2022. This is another temperature chart, and it's butterflies, and a butterfly represents each month. And you fill in the different colors for the high temperature of that day. I just thought that was beautiful. So this is what I'm going to use for 2022. And again, that's by Stitchin Mommy. So I got that. Another thing, I got this off of Marketplace on Facebook. It was brand new. It's from Dimensions, and it's just called Scenic Farm. So a barn and a house and snow and trees. And so I got that in the mail, and I've separated all the floss. Oh, there's about 20 different colors of floss. And it's on 18 count Aida cloth. I haven't, I'm going to draw, I might draw lines on it like I did for the one for my Charles Wasaki one that I talked about last week. But it's not a full coverage, so I don't know that I'll do that, but I might do some like here along the middle that I know is going to be covered up. Anyway, so that's going to be a new start coming up, but that's part of the haul I got. I went to Walmart and they had these cute little things up here. I love you more than bacon. I got this because, first of all, that's cute, but I can put a magnet on this side and display other cross stitch that I might finish up. So I got that at Walmart. Where I also got this bag, try not to crinkle it, of pumpkins, pine cones, and acorns to use in finishing some of my projects. Yesterday, my friend Shirley and I went into Lethbridge, and we went to the dollar store, and they had these. And if you watch Stitching with the Housewives, they have a calendar crate, and this was $4. I figured I can, because we don't have Hobby Lobby up here, so you have to make do. And I can't go down to the States yet because although I've had my vaccinations to come back into Canada, I have to have a negative COVID test within 72 hours. But to get one up here in Canada cost me $150. So no, thank you. I'm not going down to the States yet until I don't have to have a COVID test to come back. Anyway, so I'm going to turn this into like a calendar crate kind of idea where I can put a cross stitch over here and maybe a couple really cute knobs along the bottom here that I could hang a wreath or whatever. And I know that they have like a jar here. I don't know if I can find something like that. If I do, I will put it on here. But anyway, this was from Dollarama. And I'm excited to do that. I'm going to stain it and then I'm going to paint it. So it's kind of like has a whitewashed look. Other haul that I got, and I'm not allowed to open it until September 18th, is my Friendstitch cross stitch kit. And I bought some Aida to go with it. And like I said, it's being put on by Bent Creek and Heart in Hand. And I'm looking forward to that because I love autumn, like favorite. I love to stitch autumn things, to decorate with autumn colors. You can see that, you know, burgundies and greens. Those are colors that I like anyway. So I can't open that until September 18th, but that's what I've got in haul. I've just gotten, you know, some floss here and there. My repurposed haul, I went to the thrift shop and I got 2 more pieces of, I'm pretty sure it's 18 count Aida. I love that because it's small. But anyway, one's kind of an off-white, an antique white, and one is white. So I'll use that for some of my projects coming up. So that's all I've gotten for haul. Yeah. So my upcoming projects, this weekend is, of course, the first weekend of the month, which Brenda and the Serial Starter have as Blackbird designs. So I'll be working on this one again. This is just a freebie sampler from back in 2002. which is just has an alphabet and a Blackbird at the bottom. And this was designed by Blackbird Designs. And so that's what I'll be working on this weekend. I'm doing that with onyx. Another upcoming thing, I am making a project bag for Shirley. She makes Christmas ornaments every year for her 5 children. She has 5 sons. And then she also has, I think it's 18 grandchildren that she makes ornaments and sends them. They all live in Canada. So she has to make something that's pretty much lightweight or not very bulky. And she sends these ornaments to her grandchildren every year. And this year she's working on a linen one. So mainly just for her 5 sons. So it's a linen, and I'm going to work on the linen ones. And while she works on some other smaller cross-stitch patterns for the grandchildren. So she wants a project bag that she can put all these Christmas ornaments in while she's working on them. So I'm going to make a project bag for her and help her stitch. That's what's coming up. Once I get my O Canada framed, I think I'm going to start. Well, now that it's September, I'm doing a Silhowitch September stitch. Catchy, isn't it? So I didn't bring it out here, but I have Silhowitches from Teresa Kogut, and I'm going to be doing that. It uses swamp water, and I'm using it on some fabric that I dyed earlier in the year, which came out really orangey looking. So I figured that would be great. So that's what I'm going to be working on. I hesitate to say that I want to put it on Instagram, but that's probably what I'll start working on for September. And I'm going to keep working on my autumn projects. I did have 2 giveaways this past week. This first one was Tiny Treasured Diamonds. And the winner for that was my friend Shirley. Like, she subscribed to my channel, and so now she can watch me talk about her. Anyway, so Shirley Nielsen won this. And the other one was Welcome, which was a Creative Circle kit. And the winner for that one is Karima Daywood. So Karima, get a hold of me again. I think you won something earlier this year from me. But if you let me know what your address is again, Karima, I'll get this sent out to you. So thank you to everyone who watches my channel or who may have commented in an effort to try to win one of my giveaways. I'll probably do some more giveaways at another time. I think I am up to like 530 subscribers. I've said when I get to 500, if I get to 500, I have a whip bag, project bag that I sewed together. It has Scrabble letters that say WIP. Whip, by the way, is work in progress. So, just a little term. And by the way, welcome if this is your first time to my channel. I talk about cross stitch, quilting, needlepoint, my pets, and welcome back if you are a current subscriber. My freebie this week, excuse me, I also got from watching Stitchin Mommy, and it's one that she talks about. It is joyfulexpressions.com, or maybe it's not. Yeah. And it is called His Name is Jesus. It's a freebie. I like this. Like, they show it in blue and they show it in red. I think this would be lovely to make, to hang up for Christmas and also to put up at Easter time. So, this is a freebie that you can download by just going to joyfulexpressions.us. And I'll put that down in my notes below. So let's see. That's my freebie. I don't really have too much else. I've got some things that are coming in the